Rain may have washed out many post-Christmas angling plans, but up on Lake of the Woods, good weather leads to great fishing.
There's another one, Beef.
Nice fish, nice fish.
Today, walleyes and saugers on the lake south end.
Hey, welcome back to Dialed In Angling. We are in Baudette, Minnesota this week, fishing none other than Lake of the Woods. Lake of the Woods is known as the walleye capital of the world for good reason. It's over 1 million acres of premier fishing water. This week we're at Cyrus Resort meeting up with Bryan-Beef Sathre. He's one of our main contributors to Dialed In Angling. Ice fishing season is underway. It's starting to really heat up. I couldn't be more excited to be here. Beef.
Hey buddy, how are you?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, welcome to Lake of the Woods and Cyrus Resort.
I'm pumped to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun today. The fishing's picking up and the ice is actually looking pretty good right now.
Awesome. Cannot wait, man. Well, Beef, here we are, bud.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, the ice has been moving around a lot, but we're good to go.
Yeah, I'm glad to be out here. I mean, look at the ice stacked up. I mean, the power that this lake has is just unbelievable.
It's amazing. Let's get ripping, huh? We're going for fish this big and that big.
We're gonna set up one dead stick with a frozen emerald shiner. I learned from Brian Bogdan up at Wacusco, popping the head off of the frozen shiner, and then they're actually feeding that bait up onto the jig horizontal so it sits perfectly horizontal.
There he is. Oh, another. He's not as big as that last hit that I had, but this guy's a head shaker. It's a sauger. Little jumper on me here. Look at that. On the roach spoon there. No bait again. Look at that. I'm fishing just with the marabou is just triggering these fish to jump, but that's a nice Lake of the Woods sauger right there.
That one did not hesitate, just came in and smashed it. Oh, you know what? I thought I'd mix it up since I'm at Lake of the Woods. I have every walleye segment I've done so far, I've been fishing a roach spoon, and not to say I won't use it today, but I love catching fish on rattle spoons, and I've got a rip and wrap on here. Look at that sauger, just inhale that thing. They are digging the frozen shiners, I can tell you that. That's one thing that these fish love is frozen emerald shiners on Lake of the Woods. There we go, Beef.
Nice.
I love Lake of the Woods because of the daytime bite. I can't stress the importance of having your jigging rods and being mobile, but also having dead stick rods down. You saw and you know that these emerald shiners are the way to go on Lake of the Woods. I mean, this is, what, 3 or 4 fish now on the dead stick, but all on the emerald shiner.
That's a nice walleye. Nice walleye.
Nice one. Look at that. Beauty.
Nice job.
But look at that, on that emerald shiner. See, I've got it rigged up with a moon eye jig. We're rigging it horizontal. Boom, inhaled that bait.
You hammered it.
Yeah. Frozen emerald shiner. Everybody would think that you're catching them on that live bait or on a live fathead, but that's not the case, man. Nope. They absolutely love these frozen baits up here.
Yeah, the emerald shiners are the natural forage up here.
It's a must-have.
Look at that dandy.
Yes, I'm gonna get this girl back in. She took off like a rocket. Man, awesome. We're slamming them here on Lake of the Woods. You're gonna wanna stay tuned because when we come back, we'll show you some of our go-to presentations in this South Basin. It's awesome.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Strike Master, VMC Hooks, Rapala, and Suffix.
All right, Beef, the Roach spoon, I love it. Hey, we are on the south shore of Lake of the Woods. I'm fishing with Bryan-Beef Sathre of Fathead Guide Service. No short of fishing action this morning. We're catching a ton of saugers, a ton of walleyes. Man, it's great to see all these houses strung out along this south shore. That means ice fishing is in full swing. I love fishing this South Basin. There is no shortage of fish down here, that's for sure. We're catching walleye, saugers, Beef's using the Roach spoon. That's been my go-to all year. I'm fishing a rip and wrap. You know, I can't get enough of that horizontal presentation. I'd say you're starting to outfish me, buddy.
Ah, never. There he is. That's a nice sauger. Tell you what, this year class of saugers are sure looking nice this winter.
Beef, grab this thing.
I'm on my way. There we go. Another walleye. So they're sticking schools down there right now. They're just coming through in waves.
Beef, you're right. They come through in waves. You know, you see waves of saugers, waves of walleyes that come through, because as soon as Beef starts seeing them on his screen, all of a sudden I start seeing them on mine. There we go.
Oh yeah. That's a very healthy sauger. There he is on. Oh yeah, big fish. This is why you come to Lake of the Woods during the daytime. Phenomenal bite during the daytime hours. That is a dandy.
There he is. Oh, I love catching them on horizontal rattle baits. You know, when I'm using a rip and wrap or a horizontal type of bait like that, even if I'm using a braided line, I almost always use like a fluorocarbon leader. That way, if this bait comes up, it's not gonna catch that line. You know, I have two lines rigged up right now. I've got one with braid and I've got one with mono. But with my mono rod, I'm using that advanced mono from Suffix. You don't have to worry about your line freezing up. I love the way they crack those baits though. You can feel everything. So much fun, and they're so aggressive. In that dark stained water, they just come up and smoke that thing. Get him back in. There we go, Beef. That one just crashed it. Unreal. Man, I tell you what, this Lake of the Woods bite is red hot. There is no shortage of walleyes and saugers, that's for sure. Unreal, Beef. We're getting them on the dead sticks, on roach, rattle and roach spoons, rip and wraps. Unreal. Hey, we're gonna have more hot walleye action from Lake of the Woods, but first, we're gonna turn it over to Travis for today's ice bite.
The line that we use and that we tie directly to our lures when we're ice fishing makes a huge difference in if you get a fish to eat your bait or if they just come up, look at it, and swim away. This right here is braided line. It's awesome. I use it all summer long, and Every once in a while I use it in the winter too, but I never tie it directly to the hook. I'm gonna show you why in a second. If I use braided line, I will use a fluorocarbon leader, usually 2 or 3 or 4 feet above the hook itself, so that I have an invisible connection to the hook. Fish can see braid. If I drop it in the water, I can clearly see that braided line with my eyes. It's kind of like rope almost. Now right here, I have Suffix Advanced Monofilament. This is an excellent choice to use when you are ice fishing, but I typically will use nothing more than a 4-pound test if I'm going for perch, crappie, or sunny. I'll go 6 or 8 pound test when I'm walleye fishing, and depending on the lure, if I'm on a big body of water like the Gray Lakes, then you can upsize a little bit, and if it's dirty, you can upsize the poundage. But in clear water, these fish can see it. It's not like the open water when you're moving constantly and they don't have time to dissect it. They can see it clearly, they can look at it, they analyze it, which is why I often go with a 4-pound test or a 2-pound test line diameter when I'm fishing for panfish, specifically bluegills. They will analyze that line. It's very common to downsize to a 2-pound test. Now when I put all 3 of these together, I can clearly see the braided line. If I look closely, I can see the 8-pound test, but I really can't see that 4-pound test diameter. And if I can't see it, I hope that the fish can't either. The line diameter and the line choice that you tie onto your hook when you're ice fishing plays a big part of your ice fishing success.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Strike Master, VMC Hooks, iFish Pro Tip-Ups, and Suffix. Hey everybody, it's Bill Shirk. We're getting close to the new year and it's time for the latest ice report. Up first today, Nick Sakala. Rain, wind, warm weather. What else is happening?
Man, Bill, it's absolutely unbelievable the weather we've been having this winter, but it's what Mother Nature's dealing us with. We still got open water in a lot of these bigger lakes. The small lakes people are getting out on yet, seeing anywhere from 4 to all the way up to 8 inches, but still use extreme caution when you're getting out on these lakes, guys.
Great advice. Over in South Dakota, fishing guide Marcus Quam, you're wearing blaze orange. I'm confused.
Well, this weather is just confused as I am, so I got to wear different attire here.
You actually are transitioning some ice fishing groups into pheasant hunting because the ice conditions are so tough?
Yep, yeah, I got some groups that just like fishing in the snow bear. So walking out and just doing the portable thing isn't what they want to do or what I want to do, so we're just kind of trying to do something to get outside of these boxes. These guys have had these trips planned for a year, and they just want to get away and still do something. So this is kind of what we're going to do.
And forecast into the new year still doesn't look any better.
No, it's way above average. And I mean, hopefully things snap and change here, because once it does, it won't take long to get ice. But as of right now, it's just holding too warm.
I feel a little bit like the Grinch when I talk about ice fishing in Wisconsin right now. They've had wind, they've had rain, they've had warm temps. Captain Adam Rasmussen joins us. You don't have ice yet, so you're working on rods, and you've got a little ditty for us today.
Braid versus mono. I always fish mono. That way, if you're outside hole hopping, you're not worrying about the monofilament sticking to the guides of your rods like braid will. And then I always use a fluorocarbon leader on that, tie that to a barrel swivel. But something I do a little different, especially over on the bay when we're fighting these big walleyes and they get to the bottom of the hole and they're thrashing their head around, I beef it up to like a 10-pound or 12-pound fluorocarbon, and that's going to give me a little more safety, I guess call it, when that big fish gets below the hole and starts thrashing around. I'm not as likely to break them off if I had 6-pound or 8-pound that you might use on a lot of the inland lakes.
That is great advice.
I tell you what, the temps are cold, but the bite is red hot. We're on Lake of the Woods. You're watching Dialed In Angling. Thousands of ice anglers come to Lake of the Woods every single year. It's been a weird year, but it's great to see all these houses out here now. Things are finally getting back to normal. You know, I can't tell you how many times that me personally, I've come up here early ice to enjoy this, what we're doing right now. Just numbers of fish, whether you like sitting in a hard house, moving around in portables, or just fishing outside like we're doing today.
Yeah, in our resorts, in our community, this is our life up here too, and we absolutely love it, and it drives our passion.
Ooh, there you go, Beef.
Yeah,
They're dead stick fish. Catching them jigging.
yeah, it's a walleye.
Dead sticks.
Look at that.
Frozen shiners, live minnows, roach spoons, rattling baits.
It's like the Disney World of ice fishing here. I see you.
That's why people come to Lake of the Woods. I mean, it's the sheer numbers of fish you're catching. It's constant. It's all day long.
Oh yeah.
I walked over there one hole, dropped down, caught one, came back over here. You're getting doubles. You see two on the screen.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's constant battles, you know, and that's what's awesome about it. Look at that. He was hungry too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Sweet. Look at that.
You know, it's amazing how you get waves of fish that come through. You know, Beef will have one on, or he'll see them. I see them on my markham, and then we'll get the dead sticks. They'll start snapping. It's pretty cool how they just move through this area in waves. There we go, Beef. Another Lake of the Woods walleye. There's another one, Beef. We're getting them on the dead sticks, jigging rods, ripping wraps. That one's a little sauger. Now, I like using horizontal, loud presentations in this dark water. You know, it seems to draw them in, especially during the daytime hours. You know, again, Beef's using the rattle and roach spoon. I've got the rip and wrap. I love that loud rattle chamber. You can feel that bait. You know, I've been switching back and forth. I started out using that pink squirrel, green UV. These are two of my favorite colors up here. Anything pink, green, gold. As you can see, I'm using the number 4. But I love the way that thing vibrates in the water. You can hear that vibration and how loud that bait is. It draws fish to your location. You know, when you're fishing the South Basin, we're not doing a ton of ice trolling. It's not like we're fishing structure. We're just waiting for these fish to cruise through. We're getting waves of sauger. We're getting waves of walleyes coming through. And as they come through, I want them to come right to my location. And that loud rattle chamber of a rip and wrap really draws them in. Oh, they're all over down here now. There we go. Hey, you're gonna wanna stay tuned because the temps are cold, but the fishing is red hot up here at Lake of the Woods. These fish are snapping. You're watching Dialed In Angling. There he is. There we go. Some nicer fish, Beef. Oh, welcome back to Dialed In Angling. We are on the south shore of Lake of the Woods. I'm fishing with Bryan-Beef Sathre, a fathead guide service. No denying the numbers of walleyes that we are catching are absolutely outstanding.
Got it?
Yeah, nice fish.
Nice fish.
I'm fishing the rip and wrap.
Look at that.
Oh, I love fishing lipless crankbaits through the ice just to feel that rattle. There's a good looking fish. We've getting a mixed bag of saugers, walleyes. That's kind of what you can expect up at Lake of the Woods. Good numbers. Man, what a day on the ice, Beef.
And the other thing you can expect here, look at the shoulders on this fish. They're thick, they're chunky.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's
eating
awesome.
well. That's a sign of a good fishery. There's tons of bait in this lake, as we know.
Tons.
I'm gonna get this one back in. There you go, Beef, another walleye. It was amazing with this fish. That thing came up 3 times, but rather than dumping it back down in its face, a lot of times with those rattle baits, I'll race that bait way up in the water column and get them to chase it rather than you chasing them, if that makes sense. You know, it's so unnatural for baits to dump back down in their face. I always tell people, fish higher in the water column. You know, I brought that rip and wrap up in the water column, ripped it a few times, that rattle chamber just draws them right in.
Look at that. Look at that mark. Yeah, it's been absolutely insane, and every fish that, oh, like that one right there. Ooh. I mean, look at that. They just devour the rattler and roach.
And guess what? No bait, man. Everywhere we go, we're catching with no bait. It's that dress treble, that marabou, it's just how effective that hair dances in the water. It's so lifelike.
Hey, Tony, today you made me a true believer in that rattle and roach spoon. That thing's, it's awesome. Nice fish, nice fish. Look at that. He engulfed that one again though. He was super aggressive. Ow.
Line is going slack. Oh, that is a fun bite, Beef.
It's a rip and wrap up bite.
The rip and wrap up bite, look at that. Just T-boned it. Wow, what a day for numbers. I tell you what, if you're coming up to Lake of the Woods, the number of walleyes in this fishery is amazing. Hopefully we gave you some insight in how to put more fish on the ice on this big, giant pond. Until next week, I'm Tony Roach. You're watching Dialed In Angling.